In this video, you guys, we're going to take a look at the Vanquish VS4-10 Pro that I just finished building over on the CCxRC Extras channel. This thing was a joy to build. Can't wait to talk about a little bit of that with you. We're also going to show you some run footage at the end, so be sure to stick around for that. Kind of get my impressions on this thing as we go. So let's do it. Alright guys, so this again is the VS4-10 Pro. They also have the Ultra edition of this model that you can get. I opted for the straight axle version. The Ultra does have the portals. I just like the look of a great scale straight axle like this. And these things are beautiful. These axles, they say clear anodized is what they call them. They almost look white. I was almost wondering if they were plastic when I opened it. The finish on them is super, super cool looking. I absolutely love how they look. I know they're going to get scratched, but hey, that's part of the game. So assembly of it was really, really pretty straightforward. The manual has a lot of great diagrams in it, and the transmission goes together smooth. Everything was going great. And then to continue on, I didn't realize I had to paint the fenders. So paint the fenders and get parts of the body painted in order to attach the rest of the plates here that would be for like your electronics. So I thought I was going to build it all, just paint it and then put it together, but some of these go underneath, like these fenders actually go underneath the plates on the inside here. So it did stall me for a little bit, but once I got some black paint, I was up and rolling again, and did not take very long, just a couple of days, probably 2 hours at a time, working on it. Real smooth build. Painting the body, which comes in multiple pieces with the fenders, and then you've got like this interior piece that screws in. The painting of it was actually really easy because of not having that bed in here. You can get your hand in there and work around to put your masks in, and you can see the paint job that I opted for here with the gunmetal and the orange, and I did a little detail line across the top here that ties it all together up to the hood here. And then the gunmetal comes down and comes along the back, and then it separates again with a little bit of orange before this indented part is, recessed part is the gunmetal, as well as I did a stripe along the bottom. And then I did the interior black, and so that gives me a third color, and it also ties in the front end of it, which is plastic, molded like this, which is black as well. This is really cool how that goes together. There's like fans and everything in there for your cooling system. Pretty cool how that all goes together, you guys. I'm going to get on the other side. We'll take a look in closer, talk about some of the choices that I made. Also show you the wheels that came with it, but I opted to actually get some other incision wheels while I was on their site ordering this. And so we'll show you those as well. I really dig how they turned out, and we'll talk about all of those choices. Let's get over on the other side. Alrighty guys, so here is a look inside the vehicle, what I've chosen to do with it. Right up front here we see the Spectrum SR315. This is actually going to get changed out. I just had it for using today, getting it all set up and running. But I want to get a smart one in here, and we'll talk about that in just a second, the reason why. I'm running the Spectrum Smart Battery, and all of this smart stuff is because I chose to go with the Spectrum Smart, their Firma Crawler Combo. So it's a 60 amp censored ESC right here with a 2100 kV censored motor, waterproof. It's got a little connector here where they come together, and I've routed all my wires. I chose to go up and over the transmission because there's so much wire. Instead of coiling it all up and putting the ESC over on this side, I went across so I could just kind of tie it all together and then bring the servo wire over across with it. It does have a fan on here. I will say that the fan is pretty noisy. It's a lot louder than I expected it to be. It's humming in there, that's for sure. It'll keep it cool. I don't know how necessary it is. I wonder if that's something they can turn down the speeds on. All that I'm going to have to figure out still. You can see the transmission right up here. Forward mounted, so your motor goes in this way. Gears go back to kind of like a transfer case here. And then you have on the bottom metal drive shafts here, which go to your metal, very nice Curry axles. You can see the offset on the front pumpkin. The rear one is centered. That's going to mean you're going to have some lining up of things to do. If you get clearance for your front, you may not have it for the rear axle. So yeah, you just have to kind of choose your lines pretty well. But yeah, nice metal links in here, metal drive shafts. It does come with metal bodied shocks as well. In here, you can see, and metal cap, all that. I put really thick oil in here. I went all the way up to 80 weight just because I heard Matt and Josh talking about what oils they use, and I never go that high. But it feels really good, I will say that. Very smooth. I chose to run a Reefs RC 422 in the front. I don't feel like I need a ton of power like maybe some of the competition guys might need. These are just very reliable servos. I've had a lot of great luck with Reef servos. And so at about $80 or so, $80, $90, this is a very, very powerful, you can kind of see it as you're running it here. We'll just power it back on. I've got power to this thing, so I actually have it bound to my green controller now. I was doing it to the orange one, but because I'm going to be going out with my kids, they needed their controller. So I had to delete something. I'm already maxed out at my 20 on this. But yeah, so it's plenty of speed for what I need. Nice power. Everything is very smooth. We'll get some run footage out on trails for you guys as well. But it's a great build, super clean to put together. The body posts and all that kind of just tuck in here nicely. The battery tray mounts right on to the back here and up on to these metal plates that you've got up on the sides here. So I will be doing this to a smart receiver. The reason why is I want to know my battery remaining time and amperage and all that, which I'll be able to see on the controller if this is smart. But you can actually program your ESC right from the controller if you have all of the smart stuff and you have a new updated smart controller that does all the smart features. But I'm not getting any of those on here. I do have a smart one. First of all, I have to upgrade it. Second of all, there's an upgrade you can do with these things. So there's a little port here, do your upgrades. And so I need to do that so that it'll be compatible with the firmware that'll run and adjust this. But I do need to have this smart receiver sending that data to the controller as well. So this is just temporary. I just took it out of a truck so I could get this up and running, get some run footage of it. Another thing that I chose to do was I went with the KMC wheels by Incision Vanquish. It does come with beadlock wheels. They're plastic and nice tires, VXT tires. These would work. They're a bit firm. You'll hear people say they're not the best things out there. I mean, you can feel the edges of them here. The foams feel almost like memory foam. It's kind of an interesting squish to it, but it doesn't feel bad. So I just opted to go with new wheels. So I got these whole shots just because I like the look of them. These will set you back about $60 for a set of two, so about $120 for all four. And something that sets these apart is that you don't just access the wheel nut in here. To take your wheel off, you now take off all of these lugs right here, and this will pull off. The hub part is actually held on by the nut, and then that becomes the new way that you attach the wheel. So pretty clever. It's not going to be the quickest change in the world, but definitely looks super, super trick and scale. I don't plan to take these off. They are running the Landmines by J Concepts. So these are their green compound, their sticky compound. And these are the taller of the set. I don't remember the actual diameter size. I'll put links to all this stuff for you guys down in the description below. These are about $24 for a set of 2, so about 48 bucks for tires. So this is not a cheap build. This is about having a quality build and a quality truck, and that starts with the cost of the vehicle itself. So it's about $749 list to get one of these, and that's because you're getting all of these upgraded parts from the metal drive shafts, metal links. The axles are really, I mean, that's a huge part of it. Axles, to get them of this quality, there's some cost involved with that. The rest of it, the build, the transmission, everything feels super smooth in this, and just quality all around. Plus, it's also a very, it's not a licensed body, but it's a quality body, and it has a really awesome look to it, I think. But it's got molded plastic up in the front. It's got, you know, the molded interior, and the way that it all just goes together with the screws, and the door handles are plastic. Up front here, you've got plastic wipers. It's just a nice touch to it. It's a bit of a pain putting these screws in here when you're going through multiple plastics to hold it all together and try and reach from the inside and hold the screw in. And it's a bit of a bear, as well as these screws up underneath the brake lights. So probably don't put the brake lights in until you have this attached. I kind of went out of order. Also has like the fan and all that up here. Really cool, like radiator stuff. And yeah, overall, very excited about this vehicle, and hoping it's going to perform pretty sick. So like I said, it will take some driving because I did not go for the Ultra. They do have one that has portals, and it'll give you a lot more ground clearance. I will say the flex on this thing is actually quite impressive, though. You know, more than my fist, quite a bit more up over it. You can see the drop it has to get down. So there's a lot of articulation in this thing, that's for sure. But anyway, guys, we're gonna go take it out the trails, give it a run, and see how it does for that first run.
All right, you guys, so as this thing is driving here at the very beginning, I do just want to let you know what I think about this truck out on the trails. And that is that it was very planted. The weight felt very good. It was down low. I don't have anything else right now that has metal axles like this for a crawler. And I could definitely tell the difference in having that little bit of extra weight down there over the plastic axles. The balance of it feels real good. This truck was actually very planted, and it really was tackling some stuff that I've struggled with here at Ipswich with my other cars. And it's just, I think a lot of things come together here. So first of all, the landmine tires were really good in this loose dirt that we have here. And that gave me extra traction, pulling the truck up some things. But I could also tell that the way that the weight was balanced, I never felt like he was wanting to lean back. So I was able to go up some things that were steeper and caused me problems before. And as I was watching with my kids and their axial rates, this thing, in the way that it's been set up, and it should be because it costs a lot more, was way better suited for so many things. What theirs used to feel like the cheater truck when we'd go out and I'd have my other cars. This thing now it feels like the definite, you know, cheater truck, because I was tackling everything so much easier than they were. I just had grip and I had power, and that's partly due as well to the Spectrum system in here. That Firma brushless system is so smooth, constant good power, and I just love how that thing performed. It also had speed. It's a 2100 kV, so I'm on 3S. I could go slow with very good consistent power, or I could get that wheel speed if I needed it. But side hilled really good. Just overall very impressed with this. You know, it's going to be up there with my top crawlers that I have so far, trail trucks, crawlers. I don't have anything that's like dedicated competition crawler, but this thing is up there. Probably my next best. It's tough to put it in competition with something like a Capra because of the way that is built and everything, and it's built really as a crawler. But as far as my scale trail trucks go, I would say that This probably edges out my CCx10 just by a little bit.
Usually on the trails, you go with the trail
Again, it's smaller, lighter. You know, the body's not as big. Weight seems lower. I just like how it's weighted. The balance of it is just very good. So, anyway, I've got a couple of good crawlers now. I'm going to be hitting the trails more often. But I'll let you guys watch the rest of this video, and I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, very impressed. Lots of turning in this truck as well. That's the other thing, the steering. Lots of it, left and right, getting around, and that 80 weight fluid in the shocks is amazing. I want to try that in some of my other crawlers as I go forward. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the video, and we'll catch you next time.
That's how loose it is. That was easy. Yeah, no problem for you either. So man, here's the tricky part though. Well, we're coming down that way. You're not gonna make it out. Yeah. Because you can't make it up that. It's too steep. But you can set your truck.
This is easy.